everyone, it's Vinny, and I'm back this week to discuss Derby Pool 5, which will open this Friday. And with these future bets, always a little risk. Obviously, if your horse doesn't make it into the Derby, you don't get a refund. So, for that reason, when I'm making these bets, I'm looking for some value here. Now, obviously, if you're on a horse like Forte or Practical Move, and you think already that here at the beginning of March that one of these two is your Derby winner, by all means, play them here. I'm going to be talking about some horses who I'm hoping take a step forward in that the price I get in this Derby pool will be a lot better than the price I would get on Derby Day based on if they did win their next race. So with that said, I'm going to start here. The first horse I am looking at is King's Barnes for Todd Pletcher. He's opening at 50 to 1 in this in Derby Pool 5. He's 2 for 2 in his career. His pedigree says that the classic distance should be no problem. Sired by Uncle Mo out of a Tappet mare. He doesn't have any Derby points yet, but his next race should be a Derby prep. He easily won his maiden, easily won his allowance. The next logical step would be a stakes race. I'm going to guess that we are going to see him in one, either if that's the Florida Derby or if Todd ships him for the Bluegrass or back up to New York for the Wood Memorial. I'm going to guess one of the 100-point preps is going to be King's Barnes' next start. He did just have his first work this week since winning that allowance race, which is a good sign. But 50 to 1, he's been very impressive. If he wins one of those major 100-point preps, we won't get anywhere near 50 to 1 on Derby Day, and that's kind of what I'm going for here. I am hoping that he really is as good as the hype on him has been all year. He was very hyped coming into 2023. So fingers crossed that King's Barn doesn't get bet too far down from this 50 to 1 line, but that he does win his next start and will have a shot at getting a nice price into the Derby. Also worth noting that the horse that finished second to him in his allowance race last time out, Mikey Bananas, is entered in the Tampa Bay Derby this weekend. So keep an eye to see on how he does. If he runs well, even if he runs like a good second or good third, might flatter King's Barnes just a little bit. So there's one to keep an eye on. The next horse that I think has value here in Derby Pool 5 is Instant Coffee. He's going to open at 30 to 1. Really has done nothing wrong up until this point. Dominated the Lecomte back in January. Connections are waiting until the Louisiana Derby for his next start. But he's basically already got enough points to be in the Derby. He should get in, even if he doesn't win the Louisiana Derby. But if he does win, he's not going to be anywhere near 30 to 1 on Derby Day. He is a little bit pace dependent, but as we saw last year, sometimes it works out in your favor. So, Instant Coffee, he's already got a grade 2 and a grade 3 win in his career. He runs well in the Louisiana Derby. I don't think we see anywhere near 30 to 1 on him. I think he would end up being considered as one of those major, like, wise guy horses that people play and ends up going off at, like, 10, 12 to 1. So 30 to 1, Instant Coffee, I think, does have some value here. And the last horse here is also 30 to 1 opening for Derby Pool 5, and that is Hit Show for Brad Cox. He dominated the Withers last month. It wasn't the best field, but he keeps showing improvement. There's no reason he should not stretch out. And the New York circuit so far has looked pretty weak. If they keep him in New York and, you know, he's running against similar company next time out in the Wood Memorial, he probably won't be 30 to 1 on Derby Day. Now, I'm not super high on him. I would the first two, King's Barnes and Instant Coffee, I definitely prefer over Hit Show. But from a value perspective, I think Hit Show offers some good value here that he's probably going to get into the Derby gate as long as he doesn't throw out a bad race in the Wood Memorial, which I'm going to guess is going to be his next start. And as long as he doesn't do that, he's a horse that will be in the Derby gate. You won't get 30 to 1 on a Brad Cox horse on Derby Day. So for that reason, Hit Show, I believe, is value. The Oaks pool also opens this weekend as well. A couple horses that I think do show value here. The first one is Wet Paint, who's opening in the Oaks pool at 12 to 1. Her Honeybee was very impressive. She looked like she might not finish in the top 5, turning for home, and she turned it on and just blew that field out late. if she wins her next start, there's no way you're going to get double-digit odds on wet paint for the Oaks. So 12-1 on wet paint might be worth it right now if you were impressed like I was with that Honeybee effort. Not going to put too much on it at 12-1, but the way this Oaks season has gone, another dominant win, and you could be looking at the Oaks favorite in her. The other horse in the Oaks pool that caught my eye is Money's Gold for Todd Pletcher. She's opening at 30-1. Now, I know she's never tried 2 turns. She has yet to try an Oaks prep. But her first 2 career wins have been very easy, impressive wins on the front end. She could be very dangerous on the front end if she can get 2 turns. I'm not sure if the connections are going to try it with her. She's on the list, so I'm fingers crossed that they are thinking about stretching her out to 2 turns. But it's been a very inconsistent Oaks season for the most part. She wins one of these major Oaks preps, and especially if she does it on the front end like she's done in her 2 allowance races, and she does it easily, you won't see anywhere near 30-1, and she might even jump her way up into being one of those single digit odd horses if she wins next time out. So Money's Gold at 30-1. I think it's worth rolling the dice on her. We already know she's a very good sprinter, but if she can stretch out the 2 turns, this could be huge value for the Oaks pool. So if you're playing the Derby pool futures this weekend, what I always like to say is look for value. A horse like Forte is opening at 4-1. He's going to get bet down from 4-1, and realistically on Derby day, he's probably going to be 2-1. At worst case scenario, he's 9-5. So if you're not betting him at 4-1, you might lose a little bit of value, but you definitely lose value on some of these horses that are high 30 and 50-1 that end up winning next time out, and then Derby day comes around and they're 7-8-1. So that's what I look for. Best of luck if you're playing, and I will see you next time.
RacingDudes.com is your home for the best free picks for every race, every track across the country. We're ramping up for the 2023 Kentucky Derby, and we want you to join us in the fun. Subscribe to Racing Dudes YouTube channel and click the notification bell so you never miss a single video. Want to make money betting horses? Bet with the Racing Dudes.